Welcome class 11 students of Cbse board. Today we'll do a poem, a photograph written by Shirley from your English book Hornbill. Before we start the poem is really an emotional one. The message of poem is the impermanence of life. Life is not permanent, it's short-lived. So now we start from the very beginning. The cardboard shows me how it was. The cardboard denotes, the cardboard stands for a frame that supports and holds the photograph. The cardboard shows me how it was. When the two girl cousins went paddling. Paddling is like walking in shallow water, and the cardboard, there is a cardboard on the wall, and the cardboard shows that the two girl cousin went paddling. कार्डबोर्ड जो लगा हुआ है दीवार पे वो डिनोट करता है एक ऐसे फ्रेम को जिस पे फोटोग्राफ चिपकी होगी. वो दिखा रहा है दो गर्ल कजन्स जो कि पानी में छप छप करते हुए जा रही हैं. ईच वन होल्डिंग वन ऑफ माई मदर्स हैंड. सो ईच वन ऑफ देम, टू कजन्स आर देयर, ईच वन ऑफ देम इज होल्डिंग पोएट्स मदर हैंड. वो दोनों लड़कियां जो हैं वो पोएट की माँ का एक एक हाथ पकड़े हैं. And she the big one. So who is the big one? The mother. The poetess mother is the big one. Poetess की माँ जो है वो एक बड़ी लड़की है. Some 12 years or so. So she is here not clear. It appears that she must be 12 years or so. Who? Poetess mother. ऐसे लग रहा है poetess की mother 12 साल या उससे ज़्यादा की होगी. All three stood still to smile through their hair. All three are standing there. And they are why did they stand still? Because they are posing for a photograph, and they all are standing still and they are smiling through their hair. What does it mean? It means that it's a breezy day. हवा चल रही है, and the hair are half covering their face and they are smiling through it. So इससे लग रहा है कि उनके उस समय उस दिन हवा चल रही है, उनके चेहरे पे उनके बाल आ रहे हैं और वो मुस्कुरा रही हैं. तो मुस्काए, that smile is so engaging, so bright that it is पेनिट्रेटिंग थ्रू द हेयर. वो स्माइल उनकी इतनी अच्छी है, इतनी लुभावनी है कि उनके बालों के बीच से भी दिखाई पड़ रही है. एट द अंकल विद द कैमरा एंड दे आर स्माइलिंग, दे आर लुकिंग एट द अंकल हु हैज़ अ कैमरा इन हिज हैंड. अंकल भी हैं उनके वहाँ पे जो कैमरा लिए खड़े हैं, जो उनकी फ़ोटो लेने आए हैं. अ स्वीट फेस. हुज फेस इज स्वीट? पोएटेस मदर फेस इज स्वीट. माई मदर, दैट वॉज बिफोर आई वॉज बॉर्न. So the photograph was clicked before the poetess was born. ये फोटोग्राफ तब खींची गई थी जब ये poetess पैदा भी नहीं हुई थी, क्योंकि उसकी मदर उस समय 12 साल की हो रही होगी. And the sea which appears to have changed less. The sea hasn't changed. The nature doesn't change at all. Nature always remain the same. It's eternal, everlasting. Nature जो है वो कभी बदलता नहीं, वो हमेशा एक सा ही रहता है. उसका स्वरूप बदल सकता है लेकिन उसका वास्तविक रूप कभी नहीं बदलता. हरा पेड़ मुरझा सकता है लेकिन पेड़ पेड़ ही रहेगा. That's why the sea has not changed, but in fact everything has changed. Everything has changed. What has changed? The poetess has grown big. Poetess बड़ी हो गई है. She has lost her mother. उसकी मदर जा चुकी हैं, इस दुनिया में नहीं है, और सब कुछ बदल चुका है. Everything has changed, and what she looks in the photograph is the childhood of the mother. फोटोग्राफ में उनकी मदर का बचपना दिखाया गया. आज तो मदर है ही नहीं. बस जो कुछ नहीं चेंज हुआ उस फोटोग्राफ में वो सी है जो आज भी वैसे ही है. वॉच द टेरिबली ट्रांजिएंट फीट. टेरिबली ट्रांजिएंट फीट. अब नाउ विल गो फॉर ईच मीनिंग. टेरिबली हैज़ अ डिफरेंट मीनिंग. in fact it means fierce. Here terribly is also used for something extreme or very. टेरिबली को हम लोग उस रूप में भी लिख सकते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा या बहुत अधिक. ट्रांजिएंट मीन्स टेम्परेरी, शॉर्ट लिव्ड, नॉट परमानेंट. तो टेरिबली ट्रांजिएंट क्या था? लाइफ इज टेरिबली ट्रांजिएंट. लाइफ इज टेरिबली ट्रांजिएंट. और वो पिक्चर में क्या दिखाई पड़ रहा है? इस पिक्चर डिपिक्ट्स द फीट ऑफ मदर एंड हर कजन्स, and they have that water is washing their terribly transient feet. Feet symbolizes the life which is short lived, it's not permanent. terribly transient मतलब जीवन बहुत छोटा होता है और कभी भी जीवन का अंत हो सकता है, ये कभी भी खत्म हो सकता है, हमेशा नहीं रहने वाला है। Some 20-30 years later, when the photograph was clicked, mother was near about 20 or 12 or could be more than that, 13 years. And after 20-30 years after the photograph was clicked, she laughed at the snapshot. After 20-30 years, she got the photograph and she looked at the photograph. When the poetess was sitting next to her, she looked at the photograph and she laughed. It also it generally happens with us also when we see previous photograph when we were small, we give a laugh, we smile. ऐसा हम लोग के साथ भी होता है। हम लोग जब अपनी कोई पुरानी फोटो देखते हैं तो हम लोग मुस्कुराते हैं, हंस के कहते हैं हम ऐसे लगते थे, हम कितने प्यारे लगते थे, हम कितने खराब लगते थे, इस तरह से। That's why she gave a smile at the snapshot. What's snapshot? An informal photograph. An informal photograph is called snapshot. तो उन्होंने अपनी फोटोग्राफ को देखा और मुस्कुरा दी। See Betty and Dolly. It means name of the cousin. One cousin is Betty, the other one is Dolly. तो she said, उन्होंने कहा, देखो Betty और Dolly, and look how they dressed us for the beach, and look how they dressed up. So the manner they were dressed, it was very amusing. It was something funny for her that the way they were dressed up for the beach. Remember, they were standing at a beach only. तो उन्होंने कहा, देखो बेटी और डॉली ने हम लोगों को कैसे तैयार किया है बीच के लिए। The sea holiday was her past. Whose past? Poetess mother's past was a sea holiday, because after 20-30 years when she again saw her photograph, she had grown big. She had become a mature lady. So her childhood was her past when she went on a sea holiday. अब वो कह रही है सी हॉलीडे उनका पास्ट था जब वो फोटोग्राफ को देख रही थी, क्योंकि फोटोग्राफ जब क्लिक हुई थी तब वो मात्र 12-13 साल की थी। आज 20-30 साल बाद जब फोटोग्राफ को देख रही हैं तो बड़ी हो चुकी, उनका बचपना जा चुका है और फोटोग्राफ को देख के उनको लग रहा है कि ये तो जो गुजर गया ये लौटेगा नहीं। द सी हॉलीडे वॉज अ पास्ट, माइन इज अ लाफ्टर। माइन कौन है? हुज माइन? माइन इज द पोएटेस। Poetess is her what was last for her mother's laugh, because the memory of her mother, she lost the memory of her, in fact she is looking at the photograph, she lost her mother, and for her the laugh of her mother was the last thing, and for mother her childhood was the last thing. So they both have lost something. Mother has lost her childhood and the poetess has lost her mother. दोनों ने कुछ कुछ खोया है, कुछ ने बहुत कुछ खोया है। बचपना चला जाता है, यादें छोड़ जाता है, हमेशा नहीं रहता, हमें बहुत याद आता है। वैसे ही हमारा कोई अपना बिछड़ जाता है तो हमें बहुत याद आता है। Both rye with the labored ease of law. Both rye means both. Rye means it's a sort of a twist in their behavior. It's a sort of a twist into strained expression. Expression change हुए दोनों के. Both rye with the labored ease of law. It's a very important line. Labored ease of law. Labored means it took them a lot of time. It was very hard for them to forget this reality. But they have to do it with ease. हम लोगों को कोई हम लोग का अपना हम लोग से बिछड़ता है तो हम लोग उसको भूल नहीं पाते हैं, बहुत मुश्किल होता है उसको भूलना, लेकिन हम लोग उसको भूल के आराम से अपना जीवन फिर स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। तो दैट इज द लेबर्ड ईज ऑफ लॉस। सुनो this the rye with the labored ease of law hints at the infinite human capacity to bear so many things our life. We bear so many things our life. हम लोग कितना कुछ अपनी लाइफ में सहते हैं, and that with the passage of time all pain becomes bearable, isn't it? समय के साथ साथ हर पेन जो होती है वो हम लोग सहन करना सीख जाते हैं। This is what the labored ease of loss. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Now she is no more, and she had died as many years as that girl lived. Means the girl in the photograph was near about 12 or 13 years old, and her mother died. It's near about 12 or 13 years that her mother died. यानी उनकी मदर को गुजरे हुए भी 12-13 साल हो चुके हैं और उतने ही साल हुए जितने साल उस फोटोग्राफ में वो लड़की थी। And of the circumstances. And what are the circumstances? Circumstances means the death of a mother. There is nothing to say at all. So there is nothing to say after the death of her mother, nothing to say after the death of her mother, because the loss of her mother is a big loss for her. It's silence, silence. Now one more thing, it's silence, silence. It's in fact the circumstances had made everything quiet. Death is already silent, and looking at the photograph, there is nothing to say. So it's silence, silence means death itself is already a silent. So it has made everything silence. This tragedy has made everything silent. Looking at the photograph, the poet is quiet. She is not able to utter a word, and she is quiet. And this is what the silence, silence. So the silence that has been created because of her mother's death, her mother's death has made everything quiet and silent. So that was the explanation. उसकी मदर की डेथ के बाद, उसकी मदर की मौत ने हर चीज़ को खामोश कर दिया, और उस वो ही खामोशी अब खामोश है, क्योंकि मौत एक अपने आप में खामोशी होती है, वो सब चीज़ों को खामोश कर देती है, उसी खामोशी ने सब चीज़ों को खामोश कर दिया. So that was a photograph explanation in both English and Hindi for you. Now we'll do the figure of speech. Now first one is stood still to smile. You can mark in your book, stood still to smile, first one. Terribly transient and silent silences. This is alliteration. Silent silences can also be personification as well. Stood still to smile, SSS. Terribly transient, TT. Silent silence is alliteration. Silent silence could be personification as well. Wash their terribly transient feet. Wash their terribly transient feet is transferred epithet. Now what is transferred epithet? Transferred, when you transfer an epithet, epithet means a sort of a nickname, or it could be a descriptive form also, from the thing it actually describes to something else. Here feet, terribly transient feet are describing the temporariness of life, that life is not permanent, it is temporary. So this is terribly transient feet is describing the impermanence of human life. That's why it is transferred epithet. Okay. Now labored ease is oxymoron. Oxymoron is a phrase that combines and that phrase that combines two words that seems opposite to each other. Okay, so this is oxymoron. Labored means worked very hard, ease means very easy. So these two words are opposite to each other. So these words are known as oxymoron. As I said, silence, silence could be personification also. In fact, its alliteration is already there. Now, there are three phases of human life. In fact, three phases of there are three phases being described in the paragraph. The first phase depicts the happy childhood of the mother, poetess mother. The पहला फेज है पोएटेस की मदर का जो बचपना उसके लिए है. सेकेंड फेज डिपेक्ट द हैप्पी मोमेंट ऑफ द पोएटेस विद हर मदर. जब अपनी मदर के साथ होगी, खुश होएगी, तभी तो उसने अपनी मदर को देखा था मुस्कुराते हुए फोटोग्राफ की तरफ, तभी तो उसकी मदर ने उससे देख के कहा था देखो सी बेटी एंड डॉली हाउ दे हैव ड्रेस्ड अस. एंड द थर्ड फेज डिपिक्ट्स द पोएट सैडनेस. तीसरे में पोएट की सैडनेस दिखाई गई बिकॉज ऑफ अ मदर्स डेथ. सो दैट वाज द एक्सप्लेनेशन and we discussed the figure of speech as well of the poem. So go through the poem, prepare it well. Thank you. Goodbye.